Hey everybody, welcome back to Literary Litany, a channel where writers can learn to hone their craft from the first paragraph to the page to the publisher. I'm Kevin Don Porter. I'm a traditionally published author, and I hope that you'll join me on my writing journey as I continue to work and hone my craft to publish new books, and we can journey together. I hope that you will like and comment, subscribe, and share, turn on your notifications so that all your writer friends will hear about us and join us on our writing journey, and we can journey together. So today's episode, we're going to talk about literary agents. And if you want to publish a book with a traditionally, publish a book the traditional route with a major publishing house, you will need a literary agent 9 times out of 10. In fact, I can confidently say 97 or 98% of the time you will need a literary agent to get through those doors at the public at a major publishing house. So what you need to know, what exactly do literary agents do and how do you submit to one? How do you get their attention? So here we go. I've got some notes written down to keep myself on track. So, I want to share everything with you that I know as much as I can in this episode. I think we'll probably have to do 2 additional ones because there's a lot to get to, and I want to keep your attention. So we'll break it up. So essentially, a literary agent is looking for a stellar book. Okay, that's common sense, right? They're looking for a stellar book, a book that they can get engrossed in. They love the characters, love the world, a book that they don't want to put down. Just like you, when you buy a book, you want to get lost in that world and love the characters and never want to leave. And agents are looking for that. Agents are really just like us, except they want to love the book so much that they know they can sell it to an editor at a publishing house, and that's the key. So they've got to love it just as much as you or more. So on their website, how do you submit to an agent? On their website, they will list specifically what they're looking for so that you don't waste your time submitting and they don't waste their time either. So they'll detail whether they're looking for fiction or nonfiction, and whether they're looking for young adult or middle grade, new age, women's fiction, horror, mystery, suspense, steampunk, dystopian, uh, what have you. Whatever their tastes are, they'll write it specifically, so you'll know what they're looking for. So once you know what they want, how do they want it? That's the question. How do you submit to a literary agent? And they usually all have very strict guidelines. And it's important that you follow them to the T as best you can to avoid an automatic rejection. Okay, so agents will usually look for 3 things: a query letter, a synopsis, and sample pages, and some kind of combination of each one. So a query letter basically introduces you uh, and summarizes, there's a paragraph that summarizes your book, the core conflict of your book. So you're going to introduce yourself, summarize the core conflict of your book, and then you're going to close the query out with more, maybe any writing credentials that you have or anything that will kind of qualify you to be informed about this particular book that you're writing. This is for fiction. So you're going to introduce yourself and you're going to try to summarize your book into one paragraph. It's really difficult, into one paragraph that encompasses the characters, the voice of your novel, and the plot conflict. And it can be a cliffhanger kind of query. Agents, you don't want to be too coy, but you definitely want to pique their interest. So it's a very specific way about how to write a query letter, and that's a whole nother topic that we'll get into in another separate episode. So you've got to submit a query letter or a query letter and a synopsis. And a synopsis is maybe a 1 to 2 page, up to 4 or 5 page summary of your entire book from start to finish, introducing all the characters, the major conflict, and the resolution, with no cliffhangers and no questions still left. All your loose ends tied up, because an agent wants to know, am I going to like the way this book ends? They don't want to question about that. They want to know they love the book. They'll love every aspect of the book. So the synopsis is giving them the whole book boiled down into up to 5 pages to let them know, hey, to let them determine, do I really like this book? Do I want to read more? Okay, so that's your synopsis. And in addition to your query letter and synopsis, most agents will ask you to submit sample pages. And basically, they'll maybe ask for the first 5 pages, maybe the first 20, or even up to 3 chapters. So it depends on the agent. Some of them will want a query letter and pages. Some will want a query letter, synopsis, and pages. Some will just want a query letter. So look at their submission requirements and follow them to a T so that you will avoid an automatic rejection. And usually what you have to do is they'll request that you submit your work in the body of an email. Most don't accept attachments unless they unless they request work from you after you've passed their initial phases of looking at your query and them reading your sample. And then if they request your book or something like that, then you can send it as an attachment. But initially, they just usually want your work, want your submission pasted into an email. Or there's a system that's called Query Manager, where you'll submit each item in a field, in a form that you'll fill out, and it'll be electronically sent to them. So you'll probably either paste it in the body of an email, or you'll send it in the form of in a form format to them, which is automatically managed and sent to them. So those are a couple ways that you should expect to submit to an agent. So you've got the query letter, you've got the synopsis, and you've got your sample pages, either pasted in the body of an email or submitted in an online form. Okay, so those are 2 ways that you'll submit to them, and those are the things that you'll need to submit. And as I button up this episode, I want to point out that agents receive maybe 300 to 400 queries a week. So that could average out to about maybe 5,000 or 20,000 queries a year. So they've got a lot to sift through, and you want to make sure your query is submitted properly and it's accurately done so that you don't get bumped out in an automatic rejection. So agents have got a lot to look through, and you want to stand out, follow the rules so that you can make it in front of their eyes and be considered to be represented by them. So that's it for this portion of what literary agents do. I'll follow up with another episode so we can get into this even further in more detail. So again, we're Literary Litany. We hope that you subscribe, comment, share, turn on your notifications so that you'll know when a new episode is out. And again, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.